Hey guys, my name is JessiMew, and welcome back to Adam's Quest. In the last episode, our ancestors gave us a wonderful surprise when a little baby was born in the nest with these stripes. Not only does she look so much like Adam that she might as well be a direct reincarnation, but she also marks a change in heart in her father. Tavon is now finally willing to lead the tribe on to the next island, at least for the bounties of Adam's Island. He's heard stories about the place from Rico, of course, and all of her stories are sure to ignite that same passion inside Salami. So I'm really excited to see their story unfold, and I can't wait to see them discover what the Bluebird is trying to show them too. In fact, that's kind of what Sol is investigating right now. We were hoping that he would be able to take his niece Donsol out to see what all the fuss is all about. They're going to scout ahead for any potential dangers. This does mean that they will be leaving the safety of the safe haven. This vein of grass has offered them quite a bit of protection, and once they leave for the scap, they're going to leave themselves exposed once more. So they would likely be cautious at first. I feel like Sol would probably favor the shores. Not only could he spend some time trying to find some worms to dig up, so food for them to eat along the journey. Oh, and some little bunnies too. Are you leading us toward the bunnies then? Interesting. That probably means that there's quite a bit of food for us to eat over here too, so we'll have to keep that in mind as well. But let's have you leap on top of the stump, that way you can get a better look at the area, and you can also lead Donsol a little bit closer. Now while he's going to favor the shore, I feel like she would probably favor the grasses. Maybe we'll have her scoot along the outskirts. That way she'll still have a little area to dive back into, just in case any bearyenas do spawn out here. Bearyenas, balance bears, ram foxes, who knows what they're going to find on the mountain. So she'll need a place to retreat to and go back to hide, just in case. I'm sure that her mother and father would be very proud of her for being so proactive when it comes to defending herself. They don't want to see any harm befall their babies either. Granted, she did just see the birth of her little sister Aura, and she has the purse now too, just like her father. So honestly, I think with his very last turn, it would be a good idea for him to purr for his family. That way everybody will have that healing magic on them, just in case. He can leave them with that last promise. And he can teach Aura how to be a great healer just like him. There is a pretty good possibility, after all, that she's going to have to heal Tavon, just in case that healing magic from his brother wears off before he can take away all of that damage from his sickness. Actually, I think that today is going to be Rico's final day too. And to be honest, even though there is the potential for another great baby like Salami, I would kind of prefer her to be an only child. I feel like that would be a bit more fitting of her story, like her father is just going to dote over her for the rest of his life, and it won't take away from the fact that she has been chosen by our ancestors. So instead of wasting their turns with another day of breeding, we'll have Rico pick up those berries, of course, clear out the area around the nest, and then I suppose Tavon could pack away the nest himself. Interesting how the Crabbits are still circling around the space too. They came up to investigate the new baby, and now it looks like they're turning their attentions over to our water babies as well. And I'm not surprised to see them eyeing up Doubloon. They were actually gazing at him from across the stream before, and his little brother Mimic as well. And when I was taking a closer look at Mimic, I actually noticed that he does have a pattern on him. It is so hard to see, because like so many of our bandits, he actually has the same pattern colors as his fur. So maybe if we scoot Doubloon into the water, to have him go after those fish of course with his two mighty claws, we'll bring Mimic up to the stump, and it should be much easier to zoom in on him here. You can just barely see those markings right at the side of his face, and when his head is up, you can see that little trident mark on his chest too. So he is quite the special little baby, and I'm sure that's something that Trinket has noticed. I feel like he's the type to just slink in the shadows though, and of course because his name is Mimic, he's probably going to be copying his brother quite a bit. Trinket wanted to lead her babies up the stream though. She's noticed that the fish are kind of lingering up here, so maybe it's time for them to move on. If they go up the waterfall, they should then be able to make their way straight down this one, and then of course over to those ports. Who knows, maybe this is even where all of the treasures of the sea are waiting. That's what their family is known for collecting. So just like Tavon and his idea of some great bounty waiting for him at Adam's Island, she figures there must be something grand waiting for them too in the oceans. Maybe we should come up here and have our creatures start carving their pathways then, because we are definitely going to need it for quite a few of our other tribe mates. We'll bring Frost Howl right to the front. Maybe he could sniff around with that big nose of his. Oh my gosh, and all these roots. Oh, we definitely have to start digging those up. Thank goodness some of our creatures here know how to do it. I was actually thinking that Daybreak might spend some time lingering behind anyways. He's probably noticed now that Nuvan has passed, so he needs to go find some roots to dig up for him so he can set his remains to rest too. I guess that's a good way for him to keep his eye on his children. I know that Marigold is meant to be watching after her little brothers, but they are definitely going to be a handful. Frostbite is probably going to get distracted every step of the way. If he's just after those roots after all, he's going to be following his nose instead of following his mother. Then there's Sunflower, who honestly wants nothing more than just lays around in all of those clover patches. Oh, it looks like the bunnies may have eaten these. I know there were some clovers over here before. Well, I'm pretty sure we still have some more inside the mountains, and I know that he's going to want to sunbathe there for a while, just as long as there's no action for him to take part in. He is a lazy creature, but since he's also our strongest creature on this entire island right now, he's going to have to be our main line of defense. I guess it would be a good idea for him to be out in the mountains then. It would be much easier for him to get a move on if there's no grass hindering his path. Maybe that was his strategy all along, or at least that's what he's going to tell his sister Marigold when she scolds him for being too lazy. We'll scoot her on over here, probably trying her best to pull Sunflower out of that nest, trying her best to get him to follow after the family, but he's just not interested right now. And then I guess Daybreak is going to have to stay back here with Tavanku, because he's going to have to bury him next. The gravediggers have always had that sort of sense that brings them toward the creatures who are about to pass, so I suppose it wouldn't be out of the question that he's drifting toward Daylight's family, and at least that'll give him the chance to meet them too. Oh, Tavan, it looks like the Crabbit might be coming up behind you now? Oh, that is a little bit menacing. It's almost like he's trying to plan some sort of sneak attack. Geez, you better watch your back then. I know that the fish didn't really like Tavan. They were always trying to scare him away from creatures like Sol, who were so easily manipulated by Tavan. Wonder if the Crabbits have anything to do with that too. Maybe they're rounding him up, trying to push him in the direction of the bluebird. Well, you guys don't have very much convincing to do. I think Tavan is more than willing to listen. Now, should we have Daylight try to have just one more baby? I don't want the population of this island to get too out of hand, because we are still trying to replenish our food supplies. But we've had such good luck with these babies so far. Let's just see if Daylight could maybe breed one more time, and we'll wait to have this baby until they're in a better location, maybe a little bit further down the shore. Now all that's left is to pick up the grasses over here. We'll have Ismi go ahead and carve out what little grass she can. Oh, but she is going to have to go after that bunny. If they're just gonna hop straight into your paws, then I know you can't resist. Frost Howl will carve out that grass too, and then sniff around one last time. Oh! The Crabbits have made it up this far? And they're gazing at the stumps too. How mysterious. I guess I must have followed the stream just like our water babies are planning to. Well, that must be a pretty good plan that you have then, Trinket. It seems like even the Crabbits approve. But I'm going to leave you right there. There's no fish for you to scoop up, but you have to make sure that your little baby's going to be safe. So let's go ahead and skip the day again, unfortunately saying goodbye to Tavanku, as this should be his final day. And Rico as well, thanks to her sickness. She just couldn't make it through the night. Oh my gosh, and how sad. Oh, the Crabbit seems to have passed away from the shock of it all. Maybe he ended up catching Rico's cold overnight too. But the bunnies, they are alive and well. In fact, it looks like Donsol might be dealing with a little bit of an infestation. Let's have her go ahead and swipe up what she can. Oh my gosh, one right after the next. You know, we thought you were going to be a scout, but you might just end up being one of our hunters after all. It seems like the bunnies may have underestimated you, Donsol, probably because your family isn't known for their hunting skills. But next we'll need to find a worthy place to set both of these trimates to rest. So let's see if we can find any roots for you to dig up. Unfortunately, it looks like there isn't anything in the area, but there are a couple of spaces right in the mountains. And since this is where the bluebird is leading us anyways, I guess that's where we're going to have to send him. We'll give Salami one last day to just sit here with the remains of her mother. That way Javon can pick the berries. And I suppose Aura could even offer up to heal you as soon as she has her second gem. Aura actually has the stripes too, which I thought was pretty interesting. It makes me wonder if she's going to have a particular connection to our bluebird leader, or soon to be bluebird leader at least. Something tells me these two are going to be pretty much inseparable. Almost as inseparable as Sol and his bunnies. Oh no, and he's getting a little bit cold too. Well, now might be your last chance to go hunting then. We'll have him go ahead and swipe up those meals. Then we'll have to make sure that Donsol makes his way over to her uncle. He could use a little bit of your help. So can you break free from the grasses? If we push you through this way, probably smelling that meat in the distance too. There we go, there's one root for you to dig up over here, so settle down next to your niece as well. It's nice to see all of these families reuniting again. The strength of the sun has really made their way across this island. They are quickly becoming our most lethal force. Now with one last little patch of grass, Frost Howl should be able to open this gate for the tribe. We'll have Ismi go ahead and pick up the meat that she found, then hop all the way up to the mountains themselves. Oh, the crabbit was guarding a nest? Now that's unusual. Is this nest perhaps blessed by Splash then? I mean, it is awfully close to the stream, so I suppose it could be. Maybe this is a good place for our little water babies to get to after all. Go ahead and sniff around before we go anywhere else though, just to see if anything is out here. Unfortunately, it doesn't look like there are any wanderers, so this doesn't seem to be a base. I guess it has long since been abandoned. Nobody seems to be nosing around at least. So let's have Doubloon maybe swim his way upstream. Oh my gosh, just like your mother, it seems you are cursed with a terrible swimming speed. So up and out of the water you go? Because I would definitely rather set you up to catch all these little morsels. Hopefully he won't scare them away. I mean, I think he's pretty well hidden in that grass. I don't think even Frostbite would notice, but to be honest, he's a little bit too distracted with all of these delicious roots anyways. He's even found another one of the stumps. Excellent. I think some of our creatures are going to have to start singing on those stumps. I would be very, very surprised if there aren't any wanderers out here. So maybe they could pull them out from the dark somewhere. Maybe it could even be one of our oracles, if they receive a vision about somebody they need to meet. I suppose Trinket might as well scoot down here to scoop up a couple more of those berries. Then we'll have her follow her son upstream. I guess on the opposite side to kind of just let him do his thing. She knows that he's a very strong baby, so she trusts him to make the right decision. And to mimic naturally, he's going to follow after his brother too. But first, I just want to show you guys that trident pattern right on his chest. It is so hard to see, almost like a shadow itself, but it is definitely there. So he has a pretty interesting connection to the ocean too. Now with Sunflower's second gem at hand, I'm sure that Miracle thinks it's going to be much easier to track him out from the shade of the oak tree. But she will be surprised to find that he's just as lazy as ever, sniffing around for those clovers that he loves so much. We'll bring him out this way so he can explore the mountains a bit more, as she jumps straight between both Frost Howl and her mother. That should then be the last of our turns too. So let's return to Sol, just to make sure that he's not going to end up freezing here overnight. I'm a little bit concerned since he is so cold. And did I just hear a bearyena growl? I feel like I may have. That was an awfully suspicious sound. Oh my gosh, back here? Oh, back here with all of our babies? It's behind the rocks too, the rocks and the bushes. Oh, what an awkward place to spawn. Well, the one silver lining is, Doubloon is super, super strong. Honestly, he might be able to take care of this bearyena alone. He's only a little bit less strong than Sunflower himself, and I think that's because he has the water body instead of the big body. To be honest though, with the bearyena still lurking in the darkness, I'm not sure if he would even notice. He's probably a little bit too distracted by all of these fish, so we'll have him scoop those up instead. As perhaps his brother Mimic goes after the bunnies. I'm sure he would love to catch fish just like his brother, but since this is all he has to work with, I guess he'll have to make do. That does mean that he could potentially lure the bearyena out from hiding, so he might end up getting attacked on the next turn, but his brother is going to swoop in if that is the case. And Trinket unfortunately is completely unaware, and she's getting so cold too. That is the one problem with straying so far from your babies. I suppose we'll have her stay here for a moment just to pick up the acorns, but she's going to have to find some warmth very, very quickly. And speaking of which, Soul, oh my goodness, with all this meat that you have to collect too? Well, go ahead and dig up the root. That was the first priority. There are plenty of other able-bodied creatures in your family who can take care of that bunny for you, as they have definitely proven. And I suppose as Aura will prove herself, she is also an excellent hunter, a jack of all trades, a healer and a hunter both. We'll have to make sure that we pick up this nest before we go too, and I suppose that could even be Tavon's way of saying thanks, as he scoots on over here, bringing his daughter along with him, of course. And we still have to change her gems over to the orange color of Adam's family. We'll have him pick up that old broken down nest. Oh no, I repaired it instead. Oh, what a bummer. Well, Aura, I guess that means that in the safety and comfort of the nest, you can purr for these creatures instead. Fingers crossed that he doesn't end up getting her sick. But I guess that's just something that comes with the territory. It's a risk that Aura is willing to take if it means becoming the great healer of the land that her father was too. Now all of this meat, oh my goodness, what do we go after first? I guess Daylight can scoop this up for her daughter, then we'll bring her over here to protect this meat as well, because we don't want that bluebird getting too greedy. We'll have Dawn Soul pick up this one, because Daybreak still has a job to do, and that way she'll still have one more turn to jump right to her family's side, and that should make sure that Soul is nice and toasty warm again. Daybreak, with his cold resistance, doesn't even have to worry about traveling with anyone, so I suppose it wouldn't make sense for him to go help them. But all the same, this is where he could potentially put Rico's remains to rest too, right in the direct eyesight of her family, as they mourn her for just one last time. So now after tonight, Daybreak should be able to return to his family's side once more. And I think they are getting pretty close to that glacier. They just have this small distance of grass to cross, and they are so close to the next safe haven. I'm hoping that, just like this one, our ancient family will be able to carve out a little space for them to live. That way, while they're waiting for everyone to catch up, they can grab some of those acorns maybe. I wonder if we could even have one of their families with the nimble fingers instead. I would like for them to keep those saber fangs, of course, just like Isme. Oh no, and she's getting cold too. Sunflower, could you please come over here and warm up your mother? I think that's one thing he would be willing to set aside his love for the clovers for. If it's to do with family after all, he's going to make that a priority. So let's hope that that bearyena doesn't end up surprising Frostbite instead. I mean, they are awfully close too, and I know for sure that Frostbite has no idea that this bearyena is near. I mean, I guess he would end up going this way anyways, if he is truly following his nose, so maybe the bearyena won't notice him after all. I guess it truly is Mimic and Doubloon that we're going to have to be concerned with. Trinket, you have no idea what is coming for your babies. I wonder if she would try to swoop in and save the day too. Well, I think we're going to have Sunflower linger nearby, maybe clear out some of the grasses just in case. Just in case we need him for some future heroics. And that just leaves Frost Howl to cross the gap and hopefully light up the way for Isme to follow. I think she should be able to scoot all the way across the stream. She is quite a bit faster. So if we set her up right here, maybe she could help by sniffing into the grass. No way. Oh, we did find one of those healing fruits. Oh my gosh, that is excellent, right by the safe haven too. Well, that is certainly something that we'd want Aura to know about. And I wonder if that's going to be the final prophecy that Daylight gives to her children. That she has seen the healing fruit in her dreams too. That would give them a reason to truly seek out this place. Now Marigolds, it looks like you have a couple of roots to dig up, so we'll go ahead and grab that with you. Then maybe you could sit on top of the stump and pick up the grasses too, just to make sure that Sunflower isn't getting too far behind. Now last but not least, we have Soul still sitting atop his stump. You know, I wonder if he's the one who's getting curious about the bluebird's calls. It would be an interesting twist to his story, because Soul isn't one to talk very often. He's very quiet, very timid. Most of his communication only comes from his antennas. So if he was the one to finally use his voice to sing out on these stumps, I think that would be an interesting twist indeed. He probably has a very rusty, raspy kind of voice, especially with a platypus beak on top of it. I guess think like Donald Duck. And I'm not sure if I've ever heard Donald Duck sing before, but that is what I would expect Soul to sound like as he's calling out on these stumps. So it certainly makes for an interesting concert, but I'm sure it would brighten the spirits of his family, and it's even a good way for them to bond now that these three siblings are finally together once more. It's probably going to be the last time too, since we are just about to see Daybreak move back toward his own family. But it would seem as if the bearyena has indeed caught scent of Mimic. So it looks like Doubloon is going to have to swoop in and save his little brother after all. Your shadow, Doubloon. Your shadow has gotten into quite a bit of trouble. Let's have him jump right next to the bearyena to land in 2 good swipes, which should be just about enough to take him down. Oh my goodness, sometimes I forget just how strong these creatures are. So with one final blow, Mimic has slain the bearyena entirely. And you must be feeling awfully lucky, Trinket. No need to worry yourself sick on behalf of your babies, because they can definitely take care of themselves. Oh, and she's not cold anymore. Oh my gosh, did it actually warm up? Wait a second, maybe we should have checked the Oracle's prophecies. Oh no, Daylight, and you have the leech. Well, we can have your daughter help you out in just a moment. But yeah, I guess it must have just warmed up. Well, that's awfully good to know. Maybe it's a good time for you to have your baby now then, especially with this abundance of food too. Let's have you plant down your nest, and then I guess you can just pick up all of that delicious bunny meat that your brother caught for you before. We'll have Dawn Soul go ahead and take on her 3rd and final gem too, which means she's free to roam a little bit farther away from the safety of her family and take down even more bunnies in their name. Now it's time for you to finally turn back and return to your family, Daybreak, on some of your very final days, so you don't have very long to catch up to them. But we'll make sure that Soul sings you along. He'll call out on those stumps again, giving you a nice song to fill you with determination. And now I guess that means, Trinket, you can just spend a couple more days right underneath the oak tree picking up as many acorns as your little nimble fingers can carry. You guys are probably going to be the best fed creatures of the entire land. Even with all of those bunnies that we're hunting over here, even with all the berries and the roots that we have, that bearyena was no small feat. You guys are going to have to branch out and share too. I'm sure that would be a good way to get on any of our family's good side. Now it looks like you guys are going to be reuniting as well, because Frostbite has plenty of roots to dig up over here. We have one more that your sister can help you out with. And then I guess we could probably bring Sunflower this way, perhaps to investigate these twiggy little bushes themselves, and that'll bring him right over to his father. so you guys can help guide Daybreak back toward Izmi? Oh, but Marigold isn't faring as well. I guess she's not quite as lucky as Trinket. For some reason, she has a lesser cold resistance, so it seems as if this land isn't quite warm enough for her. Well, that seems like a pretty good reason for you to seek out your mother again, then. Let's bring Frost Howl into the grasses, and then hopefully Izmi can pick up the grass right around the healing fruit. Oh no, it was over here. Oh, I should have checked. Well, I'm sure one of your kids will be able to do that for you. We're going to leave this little bunny behind just so we can get to the glacier faster, because I don't want us to run out of days for Izmi to crack it open. That is one opportunity that she would definitely not waste. I guess she's kind of getting a little bit too over-eager as well, just diving into that tall grass, not even bothering to carve her path behind her. Gosh, though, with the abundance of food over here, I guess she has a reason to be hasty. We really need to get some more nimble-fingered creatures underneath that tree, and I think that Trinket would probably be a good candidate for it. Now, hopefully Aura's not sick. Oh no, the cold is spreading. It seems like you've given it to absolutely everybody, Tavon. Well, let's have Aura purr just one last time for you guys, and then we'll bring her over here. I think you guys are going to have to quarantine yourself until everybody is feeling in tip-top condition. Go ahead and pick up that nest like you were planning to before, and we'll have you start making your way toward the rest of the tribe. We can bring you over here right next to Soul, in fact, as you call Salami in your shadow. Now she does have the water body, so I guess it would be okay if she strays a little bit into the ocean. She'll have to keep an eye out for leeches, but at least she doesn't risk getting anybody else sick. I feel like Daylight would be the most surprised of all of this change of heart in Tavon. She only knew him to be a very mischievous and slightly unnerving creature. He was always getting into trouble. But has Tavanku been reborn? Oh my goodness, it looks like he may have been. The only difference is that the markings are slightly lighter. Wait a second. Oh, and of course he's missing that big stinky tail. But that mask on the purse now? Oh, that is adorable. I wonder if he has been reborn in our tribe then, coming back just one more time to make sure his family is safe from situations like this. Oh no, Aura, what have you gotten yourself into? Stalked in the dark by another bearyena family. Well, since Aura is our healer, I wonder if perhaps these bearyenas were coming to her for her healing powers. I wonder if that's why this bearyena mother has come to us. Maybe her baby is even sick? The question is, would our tribe know what these bearyenas want, or would they just automatically assume that they need to attack? I mean, I think that's pretty much what most of our tribe mates think when they see a mighty bearyena like this. And in fact, Salami, this might even be your chance to show your stuff. Prove your worth with those poison fangs. She's a bit too cold right now though, and I'm sure that Tavon would notice. So we'll have him just pull her back to dry solid land. I'm sure he would prefer it this way anyways. He is a little bit leery of the oceans after having so many leech situations, and of course those fish from before. So he would rather be able to keep a true close eye on Salami. But of course, once they hear Aura yelling in the distance, maybe we could even pick up this grass, just so we don't lose track of the bearyena. We'll have her scoot all the way to her leader's side, wailing about some danger in the dark, which would likely put everybody on edge. But even with the poison fangs and Soul's bearyena claw, I am a little bit concerned that we're not going to have enough strength to take it down. Maybe it would be a good idea for us to see if Sunflower could make his way down. I mean, granted, we do have this lovely patch of clovers right here that he could roll around in. And perhaps as he's following that clover trail, that's when he would hear those cries in the distance too. So this would be the perfect occasion for us to bring Sunflower into the mix. Yet again, the strength of the sun. I'm sure they would be able to tell that this is Daybreak's son, and with him backing everybody up, there is no way that Salami can go wrong. She's even going to have her 3rd gem once the day passes, so she should have enough time to work the magic of the poison fangs. So in the next episode, our top priority is going to be saving Aura. But before we end this episode, let's make sure that we give this poor little baby a name. We don't want to forget about you, little one. Maybe we'll call him Dusk Soul, to go right alongside his sister Dawn. I mean, while these two might not have the same snout, and they certainly don't have the same pattern, they do look awfully similar in color. They even have the same ram horns, those little bearyenas ears. So I think it would be a pretty fitting way to show the duality between these two. She, the adventurous scout, who's always hunting down bunny meat for her family, while all the drama on the day of his birth is sure to shape the personality of Dusk Soul. Though I wonder which way his story is going to turn. Will he be timid now after seeing so many creatures flee from the ferocious bearyenas? Or will he instead be inspired by Salami's heroics? And for that matter, who's going to take care of the little baby once all is said and done? We can only hope that Aura will notice his sickly ways and decide to take him in. But for now, thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you all next time. Bye guys!